Three.
And the total project is like 3.5 lakhs, something like 6, 700,000 or short. Each project, 700,000. Do you think is this EPA like see it easier when filing for some if they show a match and on the race up with them, we're putting all this money.
Yeah, just one
I was thinking that
you can see her. Yeah, I mean, one thing if you're like discreet.
I probably have to answer this for you. She's determined to be my boss. Said, I got a job open. If you're interested, I said, I have to answer the meeting.
All right. We will go ahead and call to order the Kentuckiana Regional Planning and Development Agency monthly board meeting for October 28th. It's about 2:04. I believe we now have enough members present, both online and in the room, to have a quorum. Again, thank you for attending. I'll turn it over to Jared to make sure we have a roll call and enough for a quorum.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable John Black.
Here.
Honorable Bernard Bowling.
Here.
Honorable John Logan Brent.
Here.
Honorable Sean Crothers. Honorable Byron Chapman. Honorable Beverly Chester Burton. Honorable Jack Kaufman.
Brian Dixon for Jack Kaufman.
Thank you, Brian. Mr. Matt Munay for the Honorable Bill Dero.
Here.
Honorable David Eaton.
Here.
Mr. Kevin Beatty.
Here.
Mr. Jeff O'Brien.
Here.
Honorable Jeff Gahan. Mr. Keith Griffey.
Here.
Honorable Treva Hodges. Honorable Dan Ison. Mr. Andy Crouch for the Honorable Mike Moore. Honorable Todd Pollock. See you up there, Judge.
Here. Here I am.
Honorable John Riley.
Here.
Honorable Joe Robinson. Honorable Jerry Summers. Honorable Rick Tonini.
Here.
Honorable Jim Travis.
Here.
And the Honorable David Vogel.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is, excuse me, approval of minutes. For those who are making a motion, the second, if you please state your name. When it comes time for a, excuse me, a voice vote, we can either raise your right hand or say aye. So, looking for a motion for to approve the August minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye, raise your right hand.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That item is approved. Item 5, September financial statements. Tom.
Thank you. In your board packet, starting on page 24, item number 5, financial report as of September 30th, and then 25% through the year. Look on the first page and see the summary of elements shows that overall each division is well within spending. And we'll have some that are a little higher than that, but over the year, as people work on different activities, those things seem to work out. We're not anticipating any problems at this point. The next page starts agency line item revenues and expenditures. And again, that shows that right now we don't have any anticipated problems. So that goes to 29 for the agency-wide. And the last part of the balance sheet on page 30. And it shows we're in a sound financial position. I'll be glad to answer any questions anyone might have.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions? Hearing none, need a motion and a second to approve the financial report, please. So moved.
Second, Bernie.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Financials are approved. Item 6 on the agenda, Census Bureau update.
If you want to introduce them, see them.
He is up there.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Here from the Census Bureau is Ron Williams to provide us an update of where we are on the Census Bureau and the census and the release of the data. Mr. Williams.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here. It's kind of funny when you start introducing everyone as honorable, and then you get to, well, and Ron Williams. That's so, I feel like I'm in my place at the moment. Jarrett, how are we doing on time, and how much time would you like for me to use?
We try to keep them around 15 minutes and then allow time for questions at the end of that.
Perfect. Okay. What I'll do, as I mentioned, I'm Ron Williams. I'm a data dissemination specialist with U.S. Census Bureau. My primary area of coverage is Tennessee and Kentucky. I do cover the rest of the nation as well, but those are my primary areas. And I don't want to waste too much time, but guys, I got to tell you, I love Louisville. I love coming up there. I looked up the address as soon as we first made contact. Looked up where your office was located. I noticed you were due south of Mark's Feed. I thought, oh, if I can only be up there, but I'm restricted to 100% virtual. So the next time we're up there, I've got a planned time to stop off at Mark's. But let me get started here. I'm going to share my screen, and I'll mention Jarrett's name. Jarrett, if you will, just kind of be my spokesman. The obligatory, can you see my screen?
We do now.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. I'm going to run through these slides very quickly. Jarrett, I'll send a copy to you, and that way you can disseminate within the group. As I mentioned, I'm Ron Williams with the Census Bureau. This is what I'll cover very, very quickly with you because I want to get to the actual data. The American Community Survey is our largest ongoing survey, which is listed here, but we also have the decennial, which is the largest survey, but it's only every 10 years. And then I mentioned the economic census, and it's because we're part of the Department of Commerce. Our actual mission statement is the very last line there. Notice the last three words are people and economy. So that's why you'll find a lot of economic information with the Census Bureau, but we're really going to focus on decennial. Now, the American Community Survey, as I mentioned, is our largest ongoing. It hits about 3% of the U.S. population every year. And that's why I want to work it in, as a lot of people have become very familiar with this survey. And it's just because it collects a tremendous amount of data, over 40 different areas. This slide very, very briefly gives you, I guess, examples of the differences. The American Community Survey is only estimates, and that's because it doesn't go to every household, whereas the decennial went to every household. You can see the differences for yourself. But down toward the bottom where it says new data, every ACS, or American Community Survey, says every year. The decennial census is every 2 years. And you'll notice I've grayed out an area there, plus or minus 65,000. This gets to be extremely important. When we talk about census geographies, with the American Community Survey, if you have a geography with a population greater than 65,000, you can get yearly estimates on all sorts of data within that geography. If the population is below 65,000, what you're going to see is estimates based on a 5-year band, such as 2015 to 2019 or 2014, 2018. And those 5-year bands, that's where you're going to see your estimates. So if you move out toward, let's say LaGrange or somewhere like that, that's where your numbers are going to start dropping down. Doesn't necessarily necessitate a rural area, but just keep that in mind. That number is important. And the reason it's important is you can see how this is an overly simplified diagram of census geographies. And at the top, you can see the nation. And those first areas, metropolitan urban regions, those don't cross national boundaries. Under the regions, you have the states, with the states stay within the regions. Within a state, you have a congressional district, places, counties, so forth. Those don't cross state lines. This is where it really gets down to the level I believe that y'all are looking at, is at the county levels, more of the local things. Within the county, you have what we call census tracts, TRACTS. Census tracts do not cross county lines. Census tracts, they look for about 4,000 people, but you can see there's a range there. There's also a certain number of households you're looking for. Within the tracts, they have what they call block groups. Now, don't worry about writing all this down. You know, Jarrett's going to get it in a little bit. In the block groups, they do not cross a tract boundary, and you can see on the left what they're looking for there for population and housing units. And at the very, very bottom is block. You'll see block data only comes out with the decennial survey. With the block data, you're pretty much just going to get populations, race information, and eventually age information will come out. But it's very limited because the Census Bureau and the Department of Commerce will do everything they can to prevent releasing information on an individual, a certain household, or a specific business. So they suppress data that might divulge that information. And so that's why some of the data isn't available at the lower levels. So just keep that in mind. You know, we're looking all the way down with the decennial to the block level. And that block level doesn't necessarily mean a square city block. It's going to be a shape that's going to encompass enough homes and people that makes it viable as far as making up a block group. Now, to access it, this is where I really want to spend some time today. What you can see here is in the upper left is that I'm going to talk about data.census.gov and another tool called Quick Facts. On the left-hand side, you'll see that there's a color-coded map that I did there, Trimble County. I'm very, very sorry I accidentally left you out. But you can see 8 of the 9 counties there on the left. That map took just a couple of minutes. I don't even think it took 5 minutes to produce that map, which you can do as well. So I'll try and show you that in a little bit, but that's more for another day. In the upper right, you'll see what looks like a data table. I pulled that off of Quick Facts, and with Quick Facts, it's exactly what it says, Quick Facts. And then the bottom right is just an example of what you can pull off of data.census.gov. So let me get into a demonstration here very quickly, because I know our time is short, and so we want to make sure we cover it. Best way to go to the census website, if you've never been there, is just go to any browser and type in the word census. So on this one, I'm using Google Chrome. Census Bureau was the first thing. If you're using something like Bing, a lot of times you'll get a definition of census and then the Census Bureau's website, but it's just census.gov. So it's very easy to access. And like I said, no need to try and memorize, where to go to find the website. Just Google the word census. Now, I want you to be able to replicate this. So I'm not just going to say these are your numbers. I'm going to show you where to go to get the numbers so that you can explore further. At the top of the census homepage, you'll see a blue band. And as I hover over each one of these items, you'll see additional things pop up. Under the words Explore Data, the very first thing is Explore Data Main. So one click, everything's a single click. If you double click on the website, you might jump ahead. So just keep that in mind. Everything is a single click. So with one mouse click on Explore Data Main, you're going to be ready to look at the data for any area in the United States that you want. At the top, you'll see go to data.census.gov. We'll do that in a few moments. The reason it's at the top is because that is our most frequently visited data tool. So they put that at the very top. We're going to focus on Quick Facts. If I click on this, go to Quick Facts, it's going to take me to a data table, which the default is the United States. If I want to look at something in particular, let's say I want to look at Spencer County, and I type in the word Spencer, you'll see every geography that has the word Spencer in it. And so I simply click on Spencer County, Kentucky. You'll notice it's now added a column that says Spencer County, and you still have the United States. I'm just going to click this blue X, and it gets rid of that geography. What's interesting is you saw that it has the United States and Spencer. You can have up to 6 different geographies on this one data table. So you're limited to 6, and you're limited to, it only provides 62 items to start with. We actually have over 1 billion points of data. So kind of think of this as a starting point. This is a great place to go. And the reason I want to bring this up is you'll notice in this very first section under population, you have your 2020 population and you have your 2010. So Spencer County, you grew by about, a little over 2,000 people, which is great, especially when you look at the percentages growth there. And if I click where it says 2020, whatever row I click on, you'll notice that item's at the top. The reason I wanted to bring that out is why that's important is whatever at the top is what is being mapped. So you asked about 2020 data. Here it is. Here's your 2020 for that particular geography. If I click the word map, what you're going to see is a color shaded map of the counties around Spencer County. And if I want to add in, say, Clark and Floyd, you simply click on Clark. Get that to light up there. Just a moment. Figure out why that didn't light up like it was supposed to. You know, things always break at the last moment. There we go. If I add Clark, and I'm going to add Floyd as well. Just takes it a moment to render in there. Now you can see where you have color shaded for all of the counties that you guys incorporate. Why does that become important? Is because over here you have what's called a dashboard. If I click the dashboard, and I'm going to choose Spencer County, because that's where we started. We could have gone with Clark also. Notice what we're going to have is you have a map, you have a table, and below that you also have a chart. So if you want to embed this into a website or put it, like the KIPDA website, which I've looked at, it was a wonderful website. You can put this in there. And what's interesting is that you're not going to break anything. You don't have to worry about that. You're free to put this on your website, and up here in the upper right, you have the word more. It shows where you can embed it. You can print this, download it. But anyway, that's quick facts. And just, want to get right back to it. We went to the census homepage. Go back to the census homepage, explore data, one mouse click. We went to explore data main, and then we went to quick facts. So that's a really simple way to go there, but let me move into just your 2020 data. So I know we're running close on time. We got to keep going. So if we go to data.census.gov, so this is where you really want to pay attention if you're interested in your 2020 data. You can type in this box, which they call a single search. It's just like a Google search. You can type in one word or a strand of words, but we're going to skip that and go to what's called the advanced search. I really wish they would name this a filtered search, because that's what we're going to do. And the next time you look at this, I would hope you would think of this as you are answering a series of questions. So the first question is, what year? Well, we're interested in data from 2020. We're looking for the decennial. So you go to years, click 2020. Well, what survey? Well, we want the decennial survey. And you'll notice it's the only option. So I click on it. And then we can go ahead and go to the geography, and we can enter each geography. So let's go with, I'll go ahead and hit all 9 for you guys to make sure I'm covering this correctly. You don't have to go in this sequence. It's just the way I went in today. So I chose the 2 in Indiana. If we go to Kentucky, and if I click on a wrong county, please tell me, because I'm going off of a list that I made a few days ago. So here's Bullitt. Next, I'll go to Henry. I want you to see just how quickly you can do this. Okay, here's Henry, and you can take one county or you can do multiples, or I mentioned the other geographies. You can look over on the left-hand side of the screen. You can see all those other geographies that I'd referred to. Go down here to Oldham. Okay, the next ones are Shelby and Spencer. I believe that catches everybody. And I'm going to click search in the bottom right. So when I click search, you'll see that there are 6 data tables available at this time for 2020 decennial data. The first one, occupancy, that's housing information. Your race information also includes your total population. Here is your Hispanic or Latino. There's 18 and over because this deals with redistricting. I noticed a lot of you are being introduced are elected officials. So this becomes very important because you're looking for those 18 and over that are going to be of voting age. And then you also have group quarters. That's a new one that was just added this year. It was not available in 2010. But let's go to our race. If I click race, you'll notice the table that comes up. And let me click up here in the upper right where it says customize table. If I click that, it now is a little bit easier to see. Here is Clark County, Indiana. Total population is 121,093. Floyd County, Bullitt County, Henry. And at the bottom, you have where you can pan across back and forth. So that makes it easy. But also, if you're familiar with using Excel, what you can do is you can click on the columns here, and you can move this and make it fit better on your screen. So you see how easy I'm just dragging that over to make it fit a little better. Okay. So now we're looking at our geographies. You'll notice on the left-hand side where you have population, and this is what individuals have identified as one race, more than one race, and you can see all the different populations. It actually goes all the way down to, I believe, 6 races. And there were only a few thousand people in the entire United States that identified with 6 races. So not sure why they broke it down that far this year, but they did, which is good. Yes, sir. Did I hear you ask me a question there?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a question. Didn't mean
Yes,
to
sir.
talk over you. Is this the
No.
actual 2020 census data or some of these 19 estimates? That was the conversation.
No, sir. This is your 2020 number. So this is your 2020 population. Okay, did I leave out Trimble again? Show you how easy it is to add. In the upper left, you see where it says 8 geos or 8 geographies. If I click that, Trimble, I am very, very sorry. Because I love that part of the state. That drive from LaGrange on up towards you guys, that's a beautiful area. Okay, let me close it. And you'll see how simple that was. I have now added Trimble just by clicking geographies in Trimble County. So we can go to any of those data tables that you wanted to, and a great way to get back to the tables when you're looking at your 2020 is right up here where it says the word tables. If you click that, it will take you right back to the tables where you started. So, or you can click the back arrow in the upper left, and you can see where that took us back. So I mentioned the race. We can look at Hispanic or Latino. We can look at our race for populations 18 and over, and I have just a moment. So let me click this, and then we'll be able to go to our questions. Our geography stayed the same, and I click Customize Table. Now, I mentioned the maps a minute ago. You'll notice directly above this table, you have the word map. If I click Map, it's going to zoom in on those 9 counties. Oh, poor Trimble. All right, you saw how easy I added that? Just clicked on it one time. This is showing your total population in those counties that are 18 and older. So this is where your voters are located. If that color is a little difficult to see, this is what's fun. On the left-hand side, you have what looks like a gear. There's a drop down here, and you can change the colors just by simply clicking on one of those items. We can also, as I mentioned, I have 2 minutes, so let me do this. If I go to my, what we have here with our geographies, if I change the geography, we're looking at the county level right now. And I mentioned a little while ago about census tracts. If I look at my census tracts, I now see every census tract in the area. I click the box, we'll go up here around Oldham and Shelby counties. Now I've highlighted those tracts. We're still looking at that population 18 and over. This is where your individuals are that of that age. You'll notice the dark green. This is where your heavier populations are. Well, let's zoom in a little further. If I change this and go to block group, you'll see that within each track, there are other divisions. These are your block groups. You'll notice your dark green. That's where your voters are. If I change this to block, now remember, this is the smallest geography for which we'll release data. I now can see all the way down into nearly, well, it's definitely neighborhood level, but you can see where your voters are located, 18 and over. So I know that was very, very fast, but hopefully that took care of a couple of the questions you may have had. One of the things that we have is called Census Academy, which you can see is census.gov/academy. The data gems that are here, great little 1 to 5 minute long videos on how to do specific things to include extracting this data. We have courses, we have webinars, but that's all for another time. Jared, I know my time is up, so let me turn it over to you to handle any questions that we have at this time.
Thank you, Ronald.
Does anyone have any questions for Ron?
I do, if you don't mind, John Parkin.
Yes, sir.
Question I have for you, and maybe I've missed this, and maybe somebody, either you or somebody there at KIPDA can answer it. But the census information has Shelby County at 49,000 some change. But DLG, the Department of Local Government, has Shelby County at 50,453. And I was curious, where does that difference come from?
I do not know how they collected their data, or the manner in which they're collecting theirs. All that I can speak about is the Census Bureau, how they collected their data, which I know that your organization was very, very involved with what they call partnership, with trying to get the individuals excited and motivated to fill out a census survey and identify how many people are living in a specific household. So that's the way ours went to, is there was contact made at every single household. They used every possible means they could to go to every single household and collect that data. The other organization, I'm not sure how they may have or may not have collected data. So I can only speak about Census Bureau. And our method was to contact every household, every group quarters, which are your institutionalized, maybe your jails, prisons, that sort of thing, your non-institutionalized, which might be a college dorm, it might be a nursing facility, it could even be a shelter. But anyway, it's where people live in group housing. So I don't know if they may have even gone to that extent. Believe it or not, we actually sent people under overpasses. We sent them into migrant camps. I live in Nashville, and I know in Nashville, there's a couple of very large homeless communities. They sent census enumerators into those very dangerous areas to try and get a count. So with the other organization, I wish I could speak about their differences, but I can't. So very, very sorry about that, sir.
And no, you're fine, Ron, and your numbers are probably correct. I'm just curious how. And Jared, I don't know if you all would be able to know that answer, but I'm looking at the screen right now. Shelby County is 50,453. So I don't know where the discrepancy is, but I'm trusting census numbers over DLG's numbers, but that's just a question I had.
DLG has not updated to the 2020 census data, and they're probably using 5-year estimates. I don't know that for a fact, but that could be what the discrepancy is. Maybe they're using estimate data and they just haven't updated it for 2020.
Thank you.
John, I will check with DLG just to confirm, but I think Danielle's explanation, I believe, is probably correct, but I'll confirm that with DLG.
think one came during the week, another on the weekend. All right. any other
Okay, well.
questions?
All right, one last thing, Jarrett, in the absence of that, I just want to make sure everyone knows I am available to you at any time. I can do a webinar or a workshop, whatever you need. Really, I'll do it for one single individual or for a group such as this. So keep that in mind. We hit a couple of things very, very quickly today. If you or someone that works for you with you needs more instruction or wants additional assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I just want to make sure you guys are aware I am available to you. And as a federal employee, everything I do is free of charge.
Thank you, Ron. We appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you for the invitation. I truly enjoyed being here. And if I can ever help, just let me go. And I'll log off now.
Thank you, Ron. And I'll share your contact with everybody here so they'll be able to reach you as well. But anytime you're in Louisville, please let me know and we can go get some barbecue.
Yes, that sounds great. All right. Talk to you guys later.
All right, moving on, item number 7 in the agenda, Transportation Policy Committee, Andy. And before Andy starts, I would like to introduce Andy as the Transportation Director. Committee got together and conducted interviews, and after some deliberation, the committee recommended Andy be the new Transportation Director. So congratulations and welcome.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Transportation Policy Committee met in this room just a little bit ago, 12:30. We had a good meeting. Some of the highlights from that meeting were what we called Amendment 4. Amendment 4 to our Metropolitan Transportation Plan and our Transportation Improvement Program. Those are our long and short range planning documents, respectively. Amendment 4 had several significant looking projects in there, but in the end, a lot of projects were being consolidated. The Sherman Bridge was among them. Park had a couple projects they took out. There's a project at Bullock County where the cabinet is moving forward on Bullock Road, 1450. There's a change there among a few others. That was approved. No cause for alarm here, but we also kicked off Amendment 5. Typically, we do about 2 amendments a year. In this case, there's a project at U of L that needed some expedited treatment. So we've got Amendment 5 underway all of a sudden. Amendment 5 will be brought to the TPC next month. We had a couple volunteers to serve with Mr. Beatty on a TPC Office 2022 Officers Nominating Committee. We approved our goals and objectives for our next long-range transportation plan, our next Metropolitan Transportation Plan. We had a guest speaker, Mr. John Callahan, who many of you might know. John used to work for KYTC, for Louisville Metro, for Federal Highways. John works for a consulting firm now, and he led the KIPDA and KYTC funded I-65 corridor study that took a look at I-65 from near the fairgrounds north to where the Ohio River Bridges project began, so fairgrounds to downtown. There were not any major capacity gaining projects as part of that study, but it was mainly a look at the safety of the corridor, safety of the ramps, looked at, envisioned maybe closing a couple ramps, reconfiguring several others. So it was kind of a unique study, real good public outreach on that. So I encourage anybody that's looking to do some good public outreach online to look that study up. So get back to us and we can help you there. Beyond that, we had a typical administrative modifications, minor changes. That's all. Please run for it.
All right, any questions for Andy? Action is requested on this, so I do need a motion and second to approve and accept this report.
So moved, Bernie.
Second. All right, have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please raise your right hand or say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That item is approved. Andy, looks like you're up for agenda item number 8, streetlight data.
Yes, sir. Many of you all might remember this time last year, and probably about this time the year before last too, where I came to this committee to request that we subscribe or renew our subscription last year for what's called Streetlight. Streetlight is a platform that is a industry leader in transportation data. We can query Streetlight. We queried it to death over the last couple of years to give us a tremendous amount of what's known as origin destination data. Where are trips coming from? Where are they headed? It can give us activity data, which can be a surrogate for traffic counts. It can do intersection turning movement counts, just like we did a lot of money on around this region otherwise. We can do some synthetic versions of those, and we've done quite a bit of those over the last year or two. In the original agreement in late 2019, that allowed us to renew our contract 2 times at the same cost. So I'm here today to request that we enter in, we exercise that third of 3 years option that we have and renew our contract once again. It's not free, it's not cheap, but the cost is $109,396. I think last year, I showed a number of what Streetlight estimated. We did $6 million worth of work in Streetlight. We didn't do $6 million worth of Streetlight. That's the retail price of what we did. I think this year we're up to 3 or 4. So what we are doing, we're doing significant work with Streetlight. There's in your packet, there's a list of some of the items that we've worked on. A lot of these corridor studies, including the I-65 study that I just mentioned, a lot of these project consultants and these local governments and state DOTs, they often purchase Streetlight on a project basis. We've got a regional basis. We've got the all-you-can-eat model. Those project level subscriptions usually are costing 9, 10, 11, 12 grand. So there is real savings to those projects. There's no doubt about that. And that's saying nothing about the when one of you all, one of your counterparts gets on the phone with us and say, hey, can you get some Streetlight data at this location? And we're getting real good at it. Streetlight's getting better. They've got some really good tools. One of the other things I want to mention that we've done over the past year was to monitor the traffic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, showing how much the traffic decreased. And here, I believe in the next month or so, we'll have the September of 2021 data, which I fully expect to show the traffic is pretty much back to where real close or right at where we were in the pandemic. Get that back to school data, in other words. So that data should be ready here in the next few weeks. We've got about 6 week lag time on the data that we get from Streetlight. So I'd be happy to answer any questions about what we do. But yes, we are here to request that it gets renewed for one additional year.
All right, do I have a motion and a second to approve continuing the contract for the last remaining year of the contract?
Motion, Judge Vogel.
Second, Sean Carruthers.
All right, have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right, that item is approved. Thank you, Andy. Moving on to item number 9, Regional Water Management Council. Justin.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, Board. The Regional Water Management Council met here on October 12th at 1:30 p.m. Sure, yeah, you can bring those up through projects. The meeting was a hybrid meeting. We had it on Zoom virtually and here in the work room. Russell Neal, the Kentucky Division of Water, was our guest speaker. He informed the council of a few changes for the fiscal year 23 Kentucky Infrastructure Authority State Revolving Fund Loan Priority Project Guidance documents. There is going to be a cybersecurity update for both water and sewer projects. It's going to offer a lot of points there, like 20 points for that. And also the other addition to the guidance documents is how they are now providing points for design and build projects. Louisville MSD in our region has reached out to them, and KIPDA is helping facilitate design and build projects has also been considered. So there's going to be 30 points based on design and build and project readiness for those. We also had Rob Geyer with Industria Filter Manufacturers as our guest speaker. Mr. Geyer informed the council on how the respective systems can save money by utilizing optimized filters, and upgrading these filters can save thousands in energy and inventory costs. There's a lot of smaller systems in our region that could really profit off of that. And he's working with some in Henry County and in Spencer County to help utilize that new technology for optimized filters. The council also approved 8 new drinking water and 3 new clean water projects for our KIPDA region. There was 1 new clean and 1 new drinking water project approved in Bullitt County, 4 new drinking and 2 new clean water projects approved in Jefferson, 1 new drinking and 1 wastewater project in Oldham County, and then 2 new drinking water projects approved from Trimble County. There were no issues with any of those. All those got approved. A few of those projects are also going to be included in this year's priority project rankings list. And after approving those new projects, we heard from our KIPDA GIS specialist, Zach Herzog, and myself with the water management coordinator's report. And then we went and we approved the fiscal year 22 KIPDA regional drinking and clean water priority project rankings. These priority project rankings will be used for state revolving fund loans. Every year, the Kentucky Division of Water and the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority uses these lists for their intended use plan, which then invite systems who are applied for those to be able to seek state revolving fund loan data and funding for that. The majority of the projects we'll be seeking, we had 23 clean water and 31 drinking water projects that were approved this year. A good amount on both of those. They ranked from Bullitt County, had a huge one for their Shepherdsville wastewater treatment plant improvements and hydraulic expansion. KIPDA has been working really hard on doing a GPS project to help facilitate that. And each county has projects in there. As you can see, Jennifer Wall is scrolling down here for us. And then, like I said, the intended use plan from KIA will be coming out here in 2022, usually in May or June. And all these that we work on through the County Water Management Council meetings are then put into that and provided for funding. Our next KIPDA Regional Water Management Council meeting will be held in person here at KIPDA on Tuesday, January 12th. And this concludes my report.
We need to get 3 actions, and everything Justin went over is included in your board packet starting on page 34, but we need 3 motions. 1 to approve the new projects, and then a second to approve the drinking water rankings, and then a third to approve the wastewater rankings.
So you want 3 separate motions?
I'll make a motion to approve the wastewater rankings.
I'll make a motion.
The drinking water.
All right, let's handle one at a time. We have a motion on the wastewater projects. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All right. I have a motion second on the wastewater items. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye or raise your right hand.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now how about a motion on the new drinking water projects? I'll make a motion for that.
I'll say.
All right, have a motion and a second on the new drinking water projects. All those in favor say aye or raise your right hand.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And the third one
The water rankings.
is a motion and a second on the water priority project rankings. Motion and second, please.
I'll make a motion, Sean Carruthers.
I'll second it, David Eaton.
All right, have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye, raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. All 3 of those are approved.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Board.
Item number 10 is ratification of ARPA contracts. Danielle.
Yes, good afternoon. Page 47 in your packet, you'll see a list of the ARPA contracts we're asking for ratification. Taylorsville, Richlawn, Forest Hills, Rolling Hills, Washington Park, Rolling Hill, Douglas Hills, Linden, and Lebanon Junction. Just as a reminder, this is for KIPDA to provide ARPA administration for these entities.
Motion.
Second. A motion and a second to approve these items. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye or raise your right hand. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, those items are approved. Danielle,
Yes, before moving on just yet, on related to ARPA, there has actually been approved in the Senate, State, Local, Tribal, and Territorial Fiscal Recovery Infrastructure and Disaster Relief Flexibility Act. Rolls rolls right off the tongue. That's Senate Bill 3011. This is now being taken to the House, and that is House Bill 5735. What this does is going to be requesting more flexibility in the use of your ARPA funds. So to break that down, it's going to allow cities and counties to allocate up to $10 million in ARPA recovery funds for the provision of government services. What that means is what you were typically allowed to spend your, if you have a lost revenue, your lost revenue amount, now that it's going to be up to $10 million. So if you receive less than $10 million, the entirety of your amount up to 10 million will have flexibility.
Wait a minute, if you receive less than 10 million, oh, it doesn't have to be in lost revenue.
No, it doesn't have to, that's the thing, this would loosen that up. So it allows cities and counties to allocate 10 million or 30% for infrastructure related activities authorized under the existing federal surface transportation laws or community development block grant program. So there will be a list of about, I think they said 16 grants, I don't know, or so it'll work the same way, like if it's eligible under CDPG, if it's eligible under these lists of transportation projects, then it would be an eligible project for ARPA funds. So that definitely broadens the scope of what you could use your funds for. It also will allow ARPA recovery funds to provide emergency relief from natural disasters and their negative economic impacts, including temporary emergency housing, food assistance, financial assistance for lost wages or other immediate needs. It also will clarify the eligible revenue share of payment limit taxes and redirects 1% or 15 million of the original 1.5 billion for public land revenue share. This is probably eligible for any of you all. So what we're urging is that they are trying to get this through the House quickly within the next couple weeks. So we support this bill, and we hope that you all will reach out to your representative to urge the passage of this so that it would drastically improve the flexibility of your ARPA funds.
Danielle, what's the number of that bill again, please?
Yes, it is House Bill 5735.
Okay.
I can send the link, or Jared can send the link to the bill after this meeting so that you all have the appropriate information. I can also provide you, I don't know the KLC, but NACO has provided a sample, a template for a letter in support of that we can also send out to.
Great. All right, moving on to item number 11 then, the said division contracts.
Yes, on page 48 of your packet, there is a list of contracts that we're asking approving for KIPDA to enter into contract. All these are administration contracts. We have a contract with Bullitt County Fiscal Court to administer community development block grant funds for Rosehill Road. We have a contract with Global Water Company to administer state revolving loan funds for Rosehill Road. A contract with Shelbyville Municipal Water and Sewer to administer Senate Bill 36 Clean Water Grant Funds for their 36-inch gravity sewer project. Contract with Shelby County Municipal Court to administer community development block grant funds for the Wheeland Gravity Sewer Line project. And a contract with Henry County Fiscal Court to administer community development block grant funds for $25,000. Action is requested.
Motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion and a second on item number 12. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That item is approved.
Thank you.
Item number 12 on the agenda, census plan update.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you probably know, in addition to being an area development district for our region, we are also designated by the EDA as the Economic Development District. And with that, we are required to develop a 5-year economic development strategy. And with that is a yearly update. And today we are seeking approval for our 2021 SEDS update. And I'm just going to walk you through the website a little bit. Can I minimize this?
If you get the share screen, oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're
I had to close those. It should
And it's already sharing.
No, click on this one.
No, okay, so this is the home page. We have right here is the four main components of the SEDS, which is the summary background, the SWOT analysis, action plan, and evaluation framework. You can go to each of these pages by clicking here, or obviously navigating the menu up top. We also on the home page have the resolution, which we will update as we pass the update today. We will add the new one in there, and our regional facts page. Here we have the summary background. It goes over environment, culture, economy, workforce in the region. Sorry, the button did not work, but normally you would click on these and they will expand with information. Then we have the SWOT analysis, which is the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in our region that were identified through public surveys in our region, as well as regional service priorities, economic development priorities, and capital improvements, and strategic target sectors. Then we have the action plan and subsequent goals. So you can navigate through the pages, you can navigate through the goals up top, give a breakdown here. And on the goal pages, we have the strategies, future milestones and metrics, and success stories within those goals. We have the two new sections. If you recall, last year we were required to add resiliency and opportunity zones. So on the resiliency page, you'll have economic resilience, physical resilience, and pandemic response. On the opportunity zones page, it gives a breakdown of the opportunity zones in our region. We also have the data for the census tracts. Then we have the economic distress criteria page and the evaluation framework. And if you recall, also last year we added this status column, and this will tell you if it's ongoing or complete as we're working on them. And that concludes my presentation on the computer. And just as a disclaimer, we will have for a 30-day review and comment period in case you have any comments or updates to add to the site. And then we will be submitting that to the EDA for review on December 1st. So if you could please fully browse the site at your convenience and let me know if you have any updates or any questions about any of the content. And we will now ask approval from the board to update to approve the 2021 SEDS update.
So with the approval of the SEDS update includes resolution number 184-10-28. So the motion should include update the plan and approve the resolution.
Motion.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item?
What resolution are we approving?
It's in your handout, page 49 in the meeting packet, and it's just the resolution of the board approving the updates to those SEDS plan.
Page 49.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I mean.
Any further questions? All right, all those in favor, please raise your right hand or say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that item is approved. Moving on, item 13, Resilient Kentuckiana Marketing Contract. Danielle.
Yes. The said division acquired 3 quotes for marketing and advertising services for the Resilient Kentuckiana website and the pandemic recovery plan. As you recall, Resilient Kentuckiana is a website that KIPDA staff created to house resources for businesses, local government, and community members to find help for issues like housing assistance, food assistance, financial opportunities, current information on legislation, training opportunities for local officials, and much, much more. The marketing and design firm will assist with marketing the resources available on Resilient Kentuckiana and develop a targeted advertising approach to increase completion of the online surveys that will actually inform the pandemic recovery plan that we are required to draft for the EDA. This will be covered under the EDA CARES funds that we received to address pandemic recovery efforts. This funding will expire at the end of the fiscal year. One of the 3 quotes was not a viable quote, as the proposal did not meet the scope of work requested. The other 2 quotes came from VS Studio and Field Trip. Field Trip submitted the most comprehensive proposal with the lowest price of $30,000. VS quote came in at $34,000. Action is requested to enter into contract with Field Trip for these services.
All right, any questions of Danielle on this item? Motion. Second. I have a motion and a second to approve the item. All those in favor say aye or raise your right hand.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That item is approved. Item 14, hazardous mitigation.
Yes.
Danielle, do you have a sidekick for presentation on this one?
I do not. Oh, maybe, yeah. I'm willing, but I'm kidding. He does not think that hazard mitigation is the most interesting of subject matters. So this is not going to be any different, I can say it. The hazard mitigation update will hopefully be complete and ready for board approval next month. The Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan Committee will be notified of the final meeting to review the plan. This will be during the week of the 15th. We don't have an exact date nailed down just yet. Olivia Rantine, who has been the lead on this, has left us for another job opportunity in Nashville. So we are going to be trying our best to fulfill completing that plan with existing staff. So I will keep you all updated as we know more on that front. That's my report. No action is requested.
Thank you, Danielle. Moving on, item 15, the fiscal year 2022 Division of Social Services Business. Lynn.
Well, let's see if you find this interesting. Social services is in need of language in motion contract. This resource would provide assistance in translation for the hearing impaired. We have not had a contract like this for a little while, so we're requesting authorization for Jarrett to sign the service contract with language in motion, I'm sorry, and they would also sign a business association agreement with us. It's about $55 per hour for their services. They do have digital electronic services as well, but in our conversation, they said it's better to have face-to-face, so it's usually about $110 per request for service. We haven't had a lot of demand. As I said, we haven't had a contract for this in a while. So we feel like this is one of those areas that we need to fill the gap. So I'm requesting permission for Jarrett's signature.
This is a kind of a pay-as-you-go contract.
It is a
If there's need,
pay-as-you-go.
we will get billed.
That's right.
Okay. Motion. Second. Have a motion to second to approve agenda item number 15. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye, raise your right hand.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you very much. Item number 16, Division of Social Services State of Affairs update from Jessica.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, board members. It's me again, talking about senior centers. I just wanted to take an opportunity to give you all an update and talk to you a little bit about what we've been doing over the past few weeks. September was Senior Center Appreciation Month. As you all know, especially those of you serving on the boards of some of these senior centers, they have been working tremendously over the course of this pandemic to provide services to individuals while they were at home, provide meals through the 3C programs that they do as well. And then the transition back in that we've been coordinating with them over the past few months. absolutely phenomenal efforts. There truly are no words to express and encapsulate what has happened there. But we wanted to show them some appreciation. So we have just a couple more left, so I get to show you one to present. So we have gone to 7 of the centers so far out of 9 to present plaques to them. These plaques say, with deepest appreciation, KIPDA hereby honors, and then it has the center name. And then a quote, when the world stood still, you stood up, forever redefining passion, commitment, and service. For September 2021, and myself, Vesselina, contract liaisons, and Jared have been visiting with them, speaking with the participants there that are receiving services in those buildings again. It has been great. We've gotten really positive feedback, and it was really exciting to be with people again and to talk about what they're doing there. And they have said how much they truly appreciate that KIPDA has honored them in that way, and is present and showing them that kind of appreciation. We also took treats with us, which helped out a lot. So just briefly to let you all know where everybody is currently. So we do have senior center sites, which is the 9 that I just mentioned. Plus we do have congregate sites that are still in the process of reopening, getting back to the normal before COVID. So next week, actually Highlands, one of our senior centers, will be opening and they've ordered meals. So that's our newest one moving forward. We have in Jefferson County, 14 congregate sites are open currently. Not all of them are doing 5 days a week. So just so you know, if you all get questions with Jefferson County officials, let's say a site here in the neighborhood is open Tuesdays and Thursdays. These individuals that go there on Tuesday and Thursdays also have the list of all other congregate sites in the county if they want a Monday or Wednesday meal. That way people still have an option for service as we continue to work towards opening, our 5 days a week back on regular schedule. 3 of those sites are senior centers. We have 20 total region-wide. And at those centers, if a person does not feel comfortable coming into the building, they still have the option of picking up that meal for the day at the sidewalk by the door, so on and so forth. Our frozen meals, our home delivered meals are still going in 5 packs frozen 1 day a week. And that has been working very well. And it's actually something we're looking to keep potentially as we move forward. Still evaluating what it looks like as we come out of this pandemic and what is some of those good points that we've learned. But with the current staffing and volunteer crisis, and when I say volunteer crisis, I truly mean this is a true crisis. We're at like 1/10 of what our volunteer pool used to be out there with providers. It is decimated, and it hasn't seen positive growth yet. We're all hoping for it, seeking it actively. It just hasn't turned around yet. And the staffing issues, I won't even dive into. You all are fully aware. We've seen some positive growth with that in some areas. And when I say that, it's just a little nudge, but it's in the right direction. What else? I got distracted by him beating, so I'm
Hey, I got something to say too.
You totally shocked me as you were coming down the hall. But one more point after this meeting, that a memo will go out to all senior center 3D providers and services. We've had some questions come up in the past few weeks about guidance, mandates. Can we open some more days? Can we do these activities? So this memo is letting all of those centers know that yes, you can open some more days. The guidance that we have from Dale has not changed. There is no current mandates. There are recommendations on the CDC website. That means that you all as local officials, public health in those areas, and us work together to come up with a plan that keeps these participants informed of what their safety issues are, that has some type of COVID protection protocol in place. I will give you an example. So when we went into ElderServe a couple weeks ago to present, we walked in the door, they took our temperature, they asked if we had any COVID symptoms, they gave us fresh masks at the door because they require masks. It is the center's right to choose whether or not masks are on or off in the center. But that's an example. The moment that you walk through the door, that person's informed, they're asking you questions if you've had any symptoms, they're taking a temperature, and then they're providing services. But that looks different for each center, and it's based on a partnership with all those entities I just mentioned. So that memo will go out for them to evaluate and decide how they want to move forward. Opening additional days is challenging for some areas because of staffing. Also, very important to note, options are there for the centers to choose. If there's a red county, we all know all these colors by now when I refer to that. I know you guys know. In Orange County or Red County, they can have different alternate plans for those days. They can serve from the door. So it truly is that center's plan based on those participants with those recommendations and guidelines to operate as they see fit. So
it came up in our meeting, and I know all the judges that are on Tri-County's board. We discussed, they were under the impression that they had to keep the seniors 6 feet apart. You're saying that's not correct?
distancing is still in the recommendations. It is still in DAO guidelines for those unvaccinated. That is a very difficult question to answer like yes or no. A vaccinated person's recommendations are still 6 feet apart. The exercise guidance in Dale is still 10 feet. So
and that's the conundrum is playing cards and bingo and keeping 6 feet apart in a room that's about this size. So your guidance.
the CDC got it. There's not a mandate.
Don't be an attorney, don't say.
It's an attorney question. I can provide you with the recommendations. If you've informed all those participants, right, of what is recommended in that room.
And they sit together. If you inform them they're supposed to stay 6 feet apart, but they sit together and choose to sit together, then what's your liability?
What is your liability? Yes.
It's kind of a question, they rode together in the same car to get there, but then we require them to sit 6 feet apart while they participated in the activity.
I 100% understand every single scenario. We do not have it's the recommendations, the guidelines. You all have talked about it, and you have informed participants. How do we operate from here? When you ask me what is liability, that is a legal question. That is. Discussion, present the plan, let's evaluate it, let's move forward. I wish I had like this, I know Jared, Haley, and our executive director, but we talk about this all the time. There is not specific. We have to go by what CD says, and then Dale has set any local mandates. Currently, as far as I know, there are no local mandates in place. So what plan can we look at CDC recommendations, Dale guidelines, and come up with that says, we've informed everyone and these are the practices we're going to use to keep people safe? That's the easiest way I can say. So
is that something that our attorney at KIPDA could give guidance on? Or could we spend a little money here at KIPDA and maybe get a person, not a personnel there, maybe it's kind of like a workplace attorney to give some guidance? I mean, I know that our board really discussed this, and we really want those seniors back in as well as you do, but we've either just got to say, the heck with all the rules, or not do it at all, because there's no way we're going to keep 20 seniors 6 feet apart in a room this size. That would be like herding cats.
Mitzi, is this something you think that you would be able to advise on?
Absolutely, I could do that.
thank you. I will send you all the information as a refresher.
Sounds
Right
good.
after this meeting. Yes.
Thank you, Mitzi.
Okay.
It's difficult, and I knew those questions were coming up, and we are moving forward in the best way possible. So,
Are you done with the tough stuff?
I don't know, define tough stuff.
Well, are you done with are you finished with me giving you problem questions?
Oh, yes, I'm done presenting for the day unless you all have any other.
I have something else.
Okay.
I want to compliment you and staff. Our board met last week at Tri-County, and our executive director was talking about what wonderful partners you all have been over the last year. And I don't know whether it's staff changes, whether it's a pandemic, I don't care, but the relationship hadn't always been that way. And I've been on the board for 20 years. And I want to thank you and all of you all who are involved, because there's no reason that we shouldn't have an excellent partnership between these community action agencies and this board. And so, thank you for the progress that's been made.
Thank you. That was our goal. And we will maintain that goal. I thank you for saying that. We did work very hard to make sure that we were working as a team.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that, Judge.
All right.
Good job.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item 17, the contract for CDO PDS monitoring and payroll system. Tom.
Thank you. The CDO PDS program is required to utilize EDV, electronic visit verification, in order to pay the employees of the CD program that work for our clients. We've been working with the system that has been made available by the state for a while now, and it just doesn't seem to be working well with our clients and those employees. So we started investigating other options, and we learned about a company called Mainso that provides a program that not only does the EBV activity, it generates the payroll, it cuts the checks, it does the withholding, it does the tax reporting, and in addition to that, it has electronic monitoring or checks to make sure that the requirements of the program are met before the checks issued. For example, if a client, the system will include that client's budget, and if a check, or excuse me, someone works and their timesheets submitted would put it over budget, that check doesn't get paid until the client's representative or the client gets this situation resolved, or if that client's certification is run out, they'll know the fact. So right now we're doing a lot of that stuff manually, and this is a system to catch a lot of mistakes. We've talked with the Northern Kentucky agents using this company for a year now, and they said there's been a tremendous improvement in the efficiency of their operations and the staff morale, because, as I said, a lot of things that were having to be done manually are being done automatically now. And they also do the 7 counties here in Louisville. So this is a company that's familiar with not only the EBV system, but specifically within Kentucky. They've got some other clients, and they're ready to go. Like I said, the people we talked to that use them are very pleased with them. We went online just both in Kentucky, and we also checked in Georgia. And there's a list of providers of EBV services listed in both those states' websites. We had staff call companies that were listed there, and we didn't find any others that did the whole package here. Some of them had cable capacity, but it was with another company, and we think that it's very important to have the smooth, single operation, and the benefit of this system working smoothly is very critical to us. We talked to Mitzi about if our action satisfied our procurement, and she felt that it did. And we'll be charged $45 a month per active client, and we'll lose some costs that we have now for software. We've got our own accounting system. for that program. And then we've got some other software for some other things that will go away. This $45 is all inclusive. There's no startup costs. It's a 3-year contract, but if we need to get out, we can get out 30-day notice. The bad news is we will lose some staff within the financial services because right now we've got more staff than will be required, again, because a lot of work that was done manually is done automatically. Northern Kentucky has 2 staff. So we will have some reduction in staff here, which is the unfortunate part of it. But we feel that for the stability of the program, that it's the right thing to do. Cause some positions to be eliminated. I'm glad to answer any questions.
No written.
We'll get 1 vacant full-time position, 1 part-time position, and then another full-time. 2.5 positions.
And 1.5 folks will be.
Well, what? Yes. And one of those, the halftime employee was an employee that had an opportunity for a better paying job, and she took it, but she was going to have enough time that she could work part-time for us to kind of help us out. And so she's got other work, and she didn't take her new job contingent on this working because of this. So that makes it a little bit, I know she still likes getting money, but it's not quite as she's not going to be without a job. Glad to answer your questions.
Any questions for Tom? All right, so you have we don't have the contract here in the packet, but you've reviewed the contract, everything appears to be in order, and so
we have not reviewed it, but we've talked in depth with them about what it will be, and obviously we'll have Mitch look at it.
Okay, so the request is to enter into a contract with, and you said the name.
MAINS apostrophe L. All right.
Do I have a motion and a second on this item, please? So moved. Looking for a second. Looking for a second on this item, please. This would be to enter into a contract with Mainsel for CDO, PDS monitoring and payroll.
How much is it?
Well, it's going to depend on the number of clients. Right now, with our current load of clients, it would be about $17,000 a month.
A month?
A month.
How much have we previously paid?
Well, we've run the numbers, and this would be less expensive than with our current staffing and the software and costs that are going to go away. So this would be less expensive than that.
All right, I'll second the motion. John Black.
All right, thank you. All those in favor, say aye. Raise your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. All right, that item is approved. Thank you very much. October personnel report. Ellen.
Thank you. Quick one. For the month of October, we had 1 new hire. Patrick Lynch has been hired as our VAMPA maintenance and safety coordinator for the Evergreen County program in the Division of Transportation. Patrick comes to KIPDA from 20th grade from alignment, where he works as a service advisor. We had, as Kevin mentioned earlier, Andy Rush has been promoted from Transportation Planner 3 to the Director of Transportation effective October 18th, 2021. He has been with KIPDA since December of 2006. Awesome. We have two permanent position vacancies listed right now. One is the connector in the Division of Social Services, and the other is the Aging and Disability Resource Center coordinator, also in the Division of Social Services. These job descriptions can be found on KIPDA.org. We currently have 84 full-time permanent staff, 4 part-time permanent, and 1 part-time temporary. This concludes my report. Action is, if there are no questions, action is requested.
Any questions of Kelly? All right.
Motion to approve the report.
All right, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That item is approved. Item number 19, intergovernmental reviews. Garrett.
We have the intergovernmental reviews. We have projects listed A through I. These projects have all been distributed for local input with no comments received. All of these projects are ready for board approval and they can be taken together.
All right, looking for a motion on intergovernmental reviews.
Motion to approve, John Block.
Second, David Vogel.
Thank you. You have a motion and a second to approve the intergovernmental reviews. All those in favor say aye. Raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. That item is approved. Moving on to November annual meeting. Jared.
Thank you. As you all are aware, traditionally the November meeting is our annual meeting with the luncheon. In recent years, we've had it at the Louisville Marriott East with the meetings, Transportation Policy Committee and Regional Transportation Council meeting in the morning, followed by the board meeting and then a luncheon to follow. We didn't do that obviously in 2020 and 2021. We were planning on doing it at the Jeffersonian in J-Town with the same schedule, TPC at 9:30, Regional Transportation at 10, and then the board at 11 with the lunch provided. We were scaling it back, so rather than inviting so many guests, it was going to be more geared towards recognizing our board members as well as our committee members. As you all can see, we are still not having many people attend in person. Without many people in person, I want to gauge the board's interest and how they want to pursue with the meetings next month, because obviously it's a tremendous lift by staff, ordering the meals, getting the room set up for the virtual option. So we would be happy to have a meeting at the Jeffersonian and welcome everybody back. But if your all's preference is to continue through this format remotely, how would you all like to proceed? So really just kind of opening up for discussion on how you want to handle the November meetings.
Since we've got less people, does that mean we can have steaks?
All right. Anybody who has want to speak, to have a preference on continuing as we have been with remote, or to actually have a collective meeting and lunch?
This is Mayor John Black. Just send me my lunch to me, and just send me a steak on out here from Malone's or whoever the social services girl uses to distribute meals. Just bring mine to here. But I'm sitting here in my living room with COVID today. As Judge Vogel said yesterday, when the governor showed up, I was stupid enough to go down to Orlando last week and either had it before I went there, or my wife and I and daughter got it once we got there and brought it home. But we've all had infusions on Monday, but doing well, recovering. So thank God I'd had my Moderna shots already. They said that's helped me out tremendously, and my wife too. So I should be out here next Monday, but I appreciate Jared giving us this opportunity to speak on this. But I don't know, honestly, if we're out of the woods yet on this, folks. And I don't know if we need to be gathering again or not. I'd like to, but I don't know if it makes very much sense yet for us to do that. So that's my opinion.
Any other comments? Thoughts?
If you all would like, I could send out an online poll, or if we can just make the motion now to have meetings with the Jeffersonian, or alternatively, do the meetings as traditionally scheduled here at KIPDA, and also the virtual option with TPC meeting at 12:30, Regional Transportation Council at 1, and our board meeting at 2. So if you all would like me to send a poll with those two options, or if you all just want to make a motion at this point, it's your all's discretion.
What were you thinking about a speaker? Who was your speaker?
I was holding off on speaker till I found out what today's decision was.
If you have it, this is Mayor again. If you have it, I'll be there. You know, I'm not going to just go in and hide. I'll be there because I'm going to get me a steak dinner one way or another.
I'm gonna sit next to you, John Black. You're gonna be the safest person in the room for that.
You know, this entire thing is, let's say, a Rubik's Cube that none of us knows the answer to. Well, a couple of weeks ago when I watched the UK-Georgia game on TV, at the halftime, the CBS girl was interviewing the Georgia coach, and she held her microphone out, and he stood 6-7 feet away from her, and they were socially distanced, obviously, but in the background of the picture, there were 90,000 people jammed in that stadium like sardines. So, you know, what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. You know, I hate to give up on traditions. We're probably all, half of us are on this Zoom meeting because just like water seeks the lowest point, we're taking the easiest route out, not having to get in our car and drive to the meeting today. Where, you know, if the Zoom wasn't an option, most of us would be sitting in that room. So even though John had to go to Florida, I don't know if anybody else is going to Florida between now and the time of that meeting or not, but we're getting on an airplane, and John's a good example of getting a regurgitant or whatever that thing is you're supposed to get quickly after you're identified as having it. That I think has helped a lot too. So I want to even though I'm the incoming chairman, I guess I think we deserve it to Kevin Beatty to salute him and thank him for the service he's provided for the past 12 months. So I'd be in favor of going forward and having it. Reduce crew.
Mistake and split it 24 ways. How's that?
Oh, that's community.
All right.
John Logan.
How about I entertain a motion to go ahead and have the meeting collectively and a second, and we'll see how that goes.
Sounds good.
I'd second that. I'd also in favor of John Logan bringing. He's got a cattle farm, so he could maybe help us out with that meeting.
All right, have a motion.
You write the check, I'll bring the beef.
All right.
I have a motion and a second to have a collective meeting for next month for the annual meeting. All those in favor say aye, raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. For purposes of understanding. All right, so what we're going to do is Jared's going to send out a poll. Please take the link, go there, or just respond however he puts it out. That way he can get a head count as to how many will be attending. It'll also help for setting up rooms, availability for meetings and that type of stuff. So, all right. And ordering those steaks. How big of a?
Go ahead.
Medium.
Go ahead.
You want a cow, so.
You put that menu on the doodle you put out, that'll help a little bit. Yeah.
All right, item number 21 on the agenda, nominating committee, Jared.
Also, next month will be the presentation of the new slate of officers. So a nominating committee has been put together, and it has an Indiana representative, a Jefferson County representative, and then a surrounding Kentucky County representative. So Wood County Commissioner Sean Carruthers, Middletown Mayor Byron Chapman, and then Spencer County Judge Executive John Riley, who will serve as the chairman of the nominating committee. And they will meet in the next couple of weeks to determine the 2022 slate of KIPDA officers.
All right. Staying with Jared, Executive Director report.
Well, no travel, and then for meetings, as we just discussed, November 23rd, that Tuesday at 9:30 will be the Transportation Policy Committee. At 10 o'clock will be the Regional Transportation Council, and then 11 will be the KIPDA Board of Directors meeting. And these meetings will be held at the Jeffersonian in Jeffersontown. It's at 10617 Taylorsville Road. I'll be sending out further information about the location, but it's a very nice facility, and we appreciate Jeffersontown working with us to use it. And this completes my report.
Thank you, Jarrett. Item 23, any other business to come before the board?
Yeah, this is Mayor John Black again. I want to thank Jared for coming out here to LaGrange yesterday and accepting a check on behalf from the governor on behalf of Henry County. Since John Logan wasn't there, I wanted to thank Jared for showing up for Henry County. Thank you.
Could I have Adam?
That'll be a first for John Logan not taking money.
What up? Anybody got anything else?
Could I have Adam call me after the meeting? Would you call me, Adam? Okay, Judge Vogel.
All right. Well, again, thank you for your participation, both in person and online. We really will look forward to seeing you in person next month. Hopefully that'll be the first opportunity that we can all get back together and have many more meetings in person. So if nothing else to come before the board at 3:34, I will call the meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
Hey, John Black, make sure you take a steam bath before you come next month. Get ready to purge your germs.